didn't get reactivity. So my patient's antibodies didn't react with the antigens that are present on this line. And so I'm gonna go through and mark out the ones that are homozygous, which is so hard to see. So big E and little c are homozygous. Chelano, KBB, JSB, WBA, JKA, Lewis A, P1, Luther and B. And so on my panel, I have a bunch of negatives. And so go ahead and start marking them all. XGA, used to it being at the back. Where did you say you saw V?
Right, it's after little
Letter E.
little E.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't worry about that one. It can be hemolytic, so. You didn't have any reactivity, so if it's present and you didn't react there, then I wouldn't worry about it. It is fat cell. So what to see, not?
Yeah, this is kind of torture.
It is, me too.
Yeah.
Good, that's what I wanna hear.
Is it possible to have two filters? Or is it,
So, you should have one that matches the pattern. There can be stuff that you can't rule out, but I do know that this is a single antibody.
What's a plus sign though, asking? Instead
Coming.
of like a WB in there. It's not on that, it's on our homework.
Tell me what,
P1 down. I was just curious, since it's for homework.
no idea. So, use it like a plus sign.
Okay.
The one we're doing in class, you can keep it. Okay, I'm done. Okay, so what fits the pattern?
K, anti-K,
Okay, okay.
anti-big K.
Yeah.
Oh, what I did. So my cell number 7, I wasn't supposed to rule out on, and I did. So don't do what I did.
It's kind of buffoonery.
Yeah, whoa. So Kel fits the pattern, right?
Yeah.
So if you got to the end and something didn't make sense, but you know an antibody's there, and you're thinking you rule out everything, go back and look at it and see if you made a mistake. It happens, just like doing a Scantron. If you get off one line and then your whole thing's messed up, just do it again. Sometimes it's easier to just get another anagram and write your results down again and just start over if you made it too ugly. So, are we ruling out D? I have 3 for D. Big C, and make sure you're using your screen also. So look at both. For C, I need one more. I'm trying to better place to put it. Big E, I only got one. Should I get another one?
One on top.
I got one, got one on the top and then I got one on 3.
Yeah. The add-on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so hard to see on here. 2, I need one more. Little c, we ruled it out. Little e, ruled it out. Veil, we're really not worried about veil.
Still set.
If you rule it out with 1, that's good.
This one, is it two?
Did you have to go? No, there's only one antigen, there's only one cell in this whole thing that's positive for the veil antigen. So you don't need any more, we're just gonna call it ruled out. If our cross match is compatible, then veil, we're not worried about veil. I didn't mean to do that with Kel, I'm sorry. We ruled out Chelano, we're not worried about KPA, because look at the antigen's not present on any of those, even the screen. KPB, we ruled it out. JSA, there's no antigen positive cells, so we know we're not worried about that one. So JSB, we ruled it out. Duffy A, I have 1, 2, 3. Good enough for me. Duffy BA, a bunch. JKA, I got 4, that's good enough. JKB, I have 3.
How did you get 4 for JKA?
I don't know, maybe I messed it up.
JKA.
Oh, I did rule out on one cell I wasn't supposed to, so is that why?
No, there's one more on top,
It is
that's
4,
why.
so I got this one, so 1,
One,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4. So I got screening cell number 2, and then what cells?
It's
3,
5, and
Oh,
10.
I see.
3, 5, and 10.
I see what I did. I erased it on 5 and I didn't mean
So JKB, I ruled that out. We're at Lewis A, 1, 2, 3. I got 3 for Lewis A, I got a bunch for Lewis B. S is annoying. So I need one more.
All of them have one.
Say it again.
1, 2.
Did y'all have,
And
do you have just 2 for big S?
3. It's just 2. No,
It's just
the
2.
top, the
It's
top
2.
is paired with the big and little.
to. So it. you
So
got
I have cells number 6
5,
and 9.
Yeah,
6,
Yes.
there's one more.
So I need
The
one
rest
more.
of them are little s and big s together.
Little S, we have one, oh, there's 3 more.
For little s?
Yeah,
There's 3 for that.
Okay, good.
there's 3.
M, I have 3. N, I have 3. P1, I have a bunch. Lutheran A, I'm not worried about. Only one antigen positive cell out of all those, I'm not worried about.
Rule it out.
I ruled out Lutheran B. So I'm not gonna mark out Lutheran A, because I didn't rule it out, but I'm not worried, it's not really clinically significant anyway. So I'm just not gonna put anything, and so even on my answers, if I put unable to rule out something, I'm not gonna list that one, just not gonna do it. So,
Big K, right?
I think so the question's on the back. So what's your probable antibody? You think?
Anti-K.
Allo anti-K. So make sure you're reading your history. She's 55 years old for a surgery, a GI surgery. She had colon cancer for 9 years. She was treated with a partial colon removal, colectomy. Yeah. 11 weeks earlier, she went another surgery for, when her surgery came back, she had uterine cancer, where she had a hysterectomy. She has peptic ulcer disease, so they can bleed. So lots of chances for her to need blood, right? At her recent procedure, her antibody screen was negative, and they gave her 2 units. So, is it 11 weeks earlier she was, they saying she got, oh yeah. So at this surgery, which was 11 weeks ago, she got 2 units of blood. Yes, so that's what we're saying, she's O negative, recently transfused. So, it's an allo antibody, she got 2 units of blood, and 11 weeks is plenty of time to make an antibody, so she has an antibody. It's a Kell doesn't show dosage, so all of your reactions are 2+ across the board, that's normal. The second question, is there any further workup needed to prove that it's a Kell? So if you're trying to prove that she made a Kell antibody, what are you gonna do next? Phenotype her. She was recently transfused, what did we say? 3 months, that's 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Since the DHE is negative, there's a good chance that she doesn't have any transfused cells left. You could probably phenotype her. So how you prove it though is you phenotype the patient. And so we're phenotyping for the K antigen, right? What should she be if that's her antibody? Positive or negative for Kell?
Negative.
Negative. She needs to be Kell negative, means you could have the anti-K antibody. Okay, so what's the probable source of immunizing stimulus? So it doesn't say that she had children, but it's a possibility. So it could have been through a pregnancy or from the transfusion she got during that surgery. And so always consider pregnancy if it's a female. Or the transfusion where she got those 2 units of red blood cells. So there's 2 chances where she could have been allo immunized. Does this antibody cause hemolytic transfusion reactions? Yes or no? Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the main ones that causes HDFN if it's caused by an IgG antibody. Most HDFN is due to ABO incompatibility, and it's mild, but Kell can cause it. Does it cause, I answered the other question. Does it cause HDFN? Yes. That's not common. It's not gonna happen with the first pregnancy, usually. It can happen with multiple pregnancies. So the first pregnancy, she gets immunized to it. The next pregnancy, she has the HDFN. Just like that's how D works the same way. So how would compatible blood be found for this patient? So she needs O negative units, because she's O negative. And what else do they need to be negative for? They need to be negative for the Kell antigen.
Is Kell negative where it's like a very particular part of the population?
So 91% of white donors, 98% of black donors are K negative.
Oh, so it's a big part of the population.
Yeah, so if you look here, this is your clue to the frequency. If everybody has the plus sign, so each one of these is a person, right? So this is Peyton, this is Kim, this is Brett. So if you just remember that each one of these is one person. They're not pooled. So out of these, we really have 12, 13 to pick from. Random people. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the 12 are Kel negative. Most people don't have it. So that's, I mean, two people out of 12, 13, whatever I said. So if you look at this, if you're trying to think of frequency and you can't remember which one's which, if everybody has the antigen, it's high frequency. If it's positive on all of those people, these random people. If they're all negative for the antigen, then it's a low frequency. And that kind of tells you whether you need to worry about it or not. And so that's why we're not really worried about Lutheran B. Or Lutheran A, whatever. We didn't rule out Lutheran A, but only 1 out of those 13 people has the antigen. It's low frequency. Even if people have been transfused, even if she got 20 units, the likelihood that she got exposed to a Lutheran A antigen is not likely, because most people don't have it. Does that make sense? So we also said we're not really worried about JSA. Nobody has it. That's why we don't really worry about it. Because if nobody has it, even if they're being transfused, they're not being exposed. If you look at another one we didn't worry about is KPA. Out of these random people, nobody had the antigen. That's why you don't have to worry about it. If for some reason it was there by some chance, you would catch it on the cross match, probably. If you gave a KPA positive unit, which is probably still not gonna happen, because it's the likelihood you're gonna pull a random unit out of all your units that has that on it is very unlikely. That's why we don't even say I couldn't rule it out, because probably not. It's probably not there. Another one we didn't worry about was, is there another one? XGA, we're not worried about that. And so if you rule it out, if you rule everything out, you say that I have a Kel antibody, I've ruled out everything else. I picked a Kel negative unit and it's incompatible when it should be. That's when you would do more research. Maybe they do have an antibody to one of these high or low frequency antigens. So you still would hopefully catch it on your cross match. And that is super rare. If you pull a Kel negative unit, they have a Kel, you rule everything else out, should be compatible. Good? So now when you go and do homework, it will help it stick in your brain.
What are we gonna do with that antigen phenotype on the second, the home one? It doesn't say anything else.
I haven't looked at homework since last year.
It's all the,
Census antigen phenotype, it
only
says absolutely
C
nothing.
and stuff have something on it.
So she's 25 years old and she's RH negative. Never been transfused. But, so, with a spontaneous abortion, which means it just randomly happens, just if the baby dies. So if she's at least 13 weeks along, if she's RH negative, she'll get a Valorogam. If she's not at least 13 weeks, then they say that's the point at which there should be some fetal maternal blood exchange. Like maybe the baby's blood could have gotten in her blood system. If it's earlier than 13 weeks, then it's not likely, so they wouldn't give Rogam. And it still depends on your policy. But if she's more than 13 weeks, they'll give her Rogam. So they don't tell you how many weeks along she was. So you have to assume that pregnancy could have given her an antibody. If she's never been transfused, that's probably where it came from. I mean, it has to be, right? So
You don't need to worry about the phenotype thing.
if they're giving you this phenotype, that's telling you your answer is probably one of those. Because they did the phenotyping for you. They want you to make it.
So you don't need further work of it.
I can't remember what the answer is.
So we don't need to worry about the rest and just the C.
I would try to rule out everything that you can, and then compare your phenotyping results to, so if it's, she's negative for big C and big E, has to be one of those, I'm assuming, I can't remember what the answer is, but it's on camera.
Okay.
It's probably one of those, if it's a further workup, they gave you the phenotyping, so you just see if it matches.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember this being hard, it should be straightforward.
Okay. This one.
It should be like, just like this one. Y'all gonna do it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.